And, Darrell Henry gets paid every now and then, but mostly from Andy Bria when he's doing a game. Darrell's with us this morning here. They just had a doubleheader on Friday and Saturday, and here he is today. Also at York College over the weekend. The man never stops working, but he's with us here this morning on WYAIA. Good morning, Darrell. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. It's a great morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good. We're glad to hear it. I know you're a big Eagles fan, so go ahead. Spew. Yeah, I got it. Spew out the good news about the Eagles.
Oh, man. It's just like I always said that I would love to see a Super Bowl that's not a cardiac event. And Martin knows what I mean. Like they're all they're all nail biters.
Yeah.
And,
not this one.
But not this one. And it just, I couldn't relax because the Kansas City's come back from down 10 or whatever every single time. But
it was over.
It just kept building and building. And
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It was over at the half. I mean, over at the half. Not even. I went to bed. I said, forget it. My wife stayed up and watched the whole game. My wife stayed up and watched the whole game. She likes the commercials, though. She wanted to see if Stitch was going to run around the field again. But, she stayed up and watched the whole game. I did not because I knew there was no way they were coming back. The Eagles were just so dominant last night. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. The York High Bearcats had the best defensive performance of the weekend until the Eagles last night. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Yeah. But anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we got coming up tonight here because we've got games all over the place, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's start with the girls. Over the weekend, West York beats York Catholic 60-45. Your thoughts on that game? And of course, they're coming up against I think Red Lion tonight, who won over Susquehanna 46-15. I mean, Red Lion is playing some of the best basketball right now they can play. Absolutely,
they are humming on all cylinders, and it's the system that we've seen from Don Dimhoff during the glory days, and it seems like they're back. So starts with defense, pressure, relentless. Susquehanna, unfortunately for them, they've had a great year, but they experienced that firsthand on Saturday. And the West York win was really impressive, I think, because York Catholic has as much depth and size and talent and shooters that they've had in several years. So I thought they had a real chance, as the Division III team to beat the 2 on Saturday. And from what I understand, it was, I think, pretty competitive, and West York pulled away late for a 15-point win. But they're really good. Maya Shah is a tremendous scorer. Reagan Dahl's been one of the best players in the league for 4 years. So they're going to have their hands full with Red Lion tonight. But they get a home game, West York does, and I understand you'll be there to see it.
I'm going to be there to see it tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to get permission. But anyway, Maya Shaw, Reagan Dahl, and Brooke Dawes were all in double figures. They only had a 1-point lead at the half. You're right about that. And then they went out the second half and laid out 33 and held the Fighting Irish to 19. On the other side, last year, it was a guy named Sedora who was wrecking the league on the boys' side for Red Lion. This year, how about Becca Sedora and Julia Sedora? Becca Sedora had 20 points the other night for the Lions, who are playing just some great basketball at the moment. And Julia Sedora had 9 points. Olivia Miller added another 7, and they went on to win pretty handily there with 46-15.
Yeah. I can't wait to see them. Unfortunately, with the scheduling adjustments, the semifinals are on the same day, so we get to pick one. But Red Lion, and not to jump ahead here, but Red Lion and Dallastown feels like they're on a collision course again, but we'll see. But I have a feeling that Red Lion's a team that we're going to see several times still ahead, because they look like they're made to be one of the last teams standing from the York area this year. It starts with defense, but like you said, they've got some real offensive talent on that team as well that can carry them or have a big night on any given night.
On the other side, you got a cat fight coming up with Kevin Sheeler's Panthers going up against Jay Rexroth's Wildcats. And Central, nice balanced effort there. They were led in scoring by Kylie Riebert, who had 11 points, but was one of 7 players to score at least 6 points. You had Bree Painter was the only other one in double figures for the Panthers, but they're getting a nice balanced scoring night in and night out, a 54-40 win over York Suburban.
They are. That's the way that Kevin Sheeler's teams were on the boys' side of Central. They always wanted 5 players on the floor that were a threat to score at any time, balance, win with defense. And they've gotten better as the year's gone on. They've gotten healthier, obviously, with both McCaskill girls. And we saw the matchup with Dallastown the first time that they played. We saw them play at Dallastown before Christmas. They didn't have Olivia McCaskill back at that point.
Right.
And they really gave Dallastown all they could handle. And with Dallastown, you almost come to expect these close, low-scoring games. That's the way they play. They've been one of the top defenses in not just our league, but in the area under Jay Rexrath forever. And they're very comfortable winning a game 40-38 or less than that. And it seems like it's always close, but it seems like they almost always win them.
Well, in this game they had with Delonia, that was no different. They're tied 46-46 at the end of regulation. They go out and win 10-0 in the overtime to win 56-46 and advance for a chance for their 3rd straight league tournament title. And again, you look at some of the kids on that team, like Praise Matthews has been there for a long time. You got Ava Jameson. You got a bunch of kids that can really, really play for Dallastown. And Jay Rexroth, one of the best coaches around as well.
Yeah, no doubt. They definitely have been there, done that. They know what it takes to win a championship. This is not bright lights for them. They from what I understand, Saturday they were down fairly big in the first half, but no panic, came back. Delone, it looked like they had a great chance to kind of get over that league tournament playoff hump. But they're always getting that tough draw, obviously, as a Division III team against, a 6A or a 5A school. And,
right.
Dallastown's just got so much depth, so they were able to kind of methodically come back, force overtime, and like you said, Gary, they were dominating in that extra period.
It's interesting when you look. You got West York with 2 teams in the tournament tonight, boys and girls. You got Red Lion with 2 teams in the tournament tonight, boys and girls. You got Central with 2 teams in the tournament tonight, boys and girls. So it is interesting. You got those schools represented doubly. Let's go to the boys' side. West York beat Delone Catholic 61-20. I mean, talk about dominating. How about this West York team looking pretty good? Coach continues to astound over there.
Yeah, and we were at the other side, but we know West York really well. We've seen them several times. I know Chase Cristofoletti, one of their young talents, was the leading scorer on Friday night with 20. But they've been the top defense in the league this year, and that's not a new thing. That's what they always pride themselves on, and they're going to need that tonight when they go up against Central. But they kind of we definitely picked the right doubleheader on Friday when we were at West York, because the 2 games at Dallastown, I believe both ended up in the mercy rule, and West York was the first one. Right. And it was over quick. I mean, they really came out strong and ran away with it pretty early, and they've been playing great for, a month or longer at this point. They're really playing really well.
Yeah, Central beating Suburban 80-53 the other night. They're defending champions, 2-time champions, looking to make 3 in a row right now. And they looked as advertised the other night. You had Ben Rill with 22, Ben Natal with 17, Byron Pinkney with 14, Doug Lair with 12. The defending state champions, also defending league champions. They're looking to try to get a district championship this year, which they've not had with this group. And I know that's one of the things that they're pointing to. But they got a 10-point lead the first quarter. They never looked back. I mean, they were on all cylinders.
Yeah, everything you'd expect to see. We mentioned Friday morning that an illness had gone through their team earlier in the week, and that might be the only thing that can slow them down at this point. They seem to be over that.
Yep, so they got back. And finally, York High beating Eastern, a game you had the other night, a really good game. And Red Lion over York Catholic, that's the other semifinal tonight. Final thoughts on those 2 games?
Yeah, well, York High, it was 6-6 at the end of the quarter, 14-9 at the end of 2. It was the best team defensive performance that Andy and I have seen them play. I mean, they were so disciplined, just stifled Eastern. They won the game 49-44. Red Lion was really humming on offense, I thought. Yeah. They had Rodriguez Ruiz had 16, Ogrechek 20, Flay 16. It was a balanced effort from a lot of guys, and it was back and forth in the first half with York Catholic, but then they pulled away.
Right.
They get a home game tonight.
West York does,
Redline does too.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
On the boys' side, but we saw York High really handle them a couple of weeks ago, so I'm sure Redline will come with, something a little bit different this time. But it was a game that Nazir Barnes dominated. And
25 points, yeah.
Ever since York High got him in the fold, they're
a different team.
Maybe the second best team on the boys' side in the area. So Redline's going to have their hands full tonight, but it's hard to bet against them too.
Yeah, they're a good team, and they play very well together. Good shooters, good passers, play a nice defense. York High, though, is on a roll right now, and they're looking really, really tough with Nasir Barnes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as the semifinals of both boys and girls tonight, and you can listen to it all right here on WOYK. What time are you guys on the air tonight, Daryl?
We're going on at 5:45 from Redline, and it's the Redline York High game up first.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned tonight. Daryl and Andy are going to be at it. Both will be extremely happy anyway going in with the Eagles having won. But then that joy, that overflowing joy will pass on to the game as well. You don't want to miss it tonight. Daryl, thanks for getting up with us this morning, taking time. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Daryl Henry and Andy Bria tonight. Stay tuned here on WOYK for doubleheader action this evening. 5:45 it all starts. Right here on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. Coming up next, we're going to get into maybe some news you might have missed and some other news that Mark's got kind of gathered over there for us, all here on WOYK.